In the apocalypse, humans hurriedly fled when they saw zombies, and this group of people faced a terrifying corpse. He actually let the zombies bite him indifferently. This week, the city of death finally reached a climax. Unexpectedly, the ant who dominates Manhattan will die on a mouse. Negan is no longer patient. Finally, counterattack. At the beginning of this episode, Krot gets knocked out. The substation in his neighborhood was vandalized. It shut down the entire neighborhood's power system. Of course, such a big accident aroused the dissatisfaction of the ant. He summoned Negan and Krot immediately. And pathetic. How did this happen? Our technician abandoned his boat? No. We are still trying to, as a thing. The reason for the altar, don't you see? How this makes us look, as I said. It is being handled. The ant angrily scolded Krot for not doing a good job. Don't give him any face. Negan stood by, appreciating the pet water casually. The ant ignored Krot's defense. Instead, send Negan and another gang boss, Mactempe Alliance. After all, last time, Negan baiting. Why don't you let the ant affirm his strength? Look at Negan for the audience. And Krotter was very upset. But right now he has to deal with the palace. I didn't expect that when I checked the scene. It really made him find out. A cable split in two is obviously for cutting. Look down. Krot gave a weird smile. It looks like they found something. You follow this side. He also came to Mike's place. Of course Mike won't give you a good look. After all, the scene where he was stunned in church. It has become the laughing stock of many people. Negan didn't talk nonsense either. Let's get straight to the point. I'm here to ask you one last time, if you're gonna join us in the fight against New Battle. And you should know that everybody said. Even Vorable, you made a big mistake. Come here. I told you last time. We are not interested in what you're selling. And there's no big fucking speech you can give that will change our minds. Blue thinks Negan is throwing himself into the net. When I was about to teach him a good lesson, the two children in the room suddenly ran over. Negan was a little overwhelmed by this scene, because he saw gifts full of women and children. But it made Negan reassess Mike. He said he also has children. Understand Mike's desire to protect his family. The reason why I came here is also to kiss my daughter. But now gangs, it's impossible to stay out of it. The two gangs have formed an alliance. If Mike doesn't agree to join, then they will definitely join forces to get rid of it first. Mike was clearly shaken by what you said, but just then, Croat suddenly broke in with someone. He threw a dagger. Michael is accused of intentionally sabotaging a power station. You feel like something is wrong, because it wasn't that simple for Crotter to come here. He knew Crotter was crazy. Don't do it. It's already been done. Negan just felt dizzy and swollen. It turns out that Crotter has already been delivering methane. Manipulated on the level. It was too late for Mike to resist. He and his men have inhaled too much methane. After wearing the gas mask, Croat didn't talk nonsense either. Just have your men kill all the members of the gang. Wait until you get back in the car. Negan regained consciousness, very dissatisfied with Krot's actions, because he knew it was definitely not what Annie meant. Krotter thought he would do this, to regain her trust, but the ant was very angry when she learned about it. He bled the dog that Croat scolded again. Because what Annie wants is a cooperative ally. It's cannon fodder that rushed up at a critical moment. Krotter couldn't hold it back for so long. What am I? Is that fucking maze? No, worse than that. At least he has a little prize with him for him. It had to be Negan. In order to be able to divide the relationship between the two, Negan bluntly, Krotter is in Andy's heart, worse than a mouse. Look, I hate some like a broken marker, but it doesn't sit right with me how she treats you. She treats her goddamn rat better than she treats you. If it is rat, better than she treats both of us. Stroking it and feeling it and loving it and giving it a creep. Giant manes, you are building her a methane empire. And yet that rag gets more respect for what's sniffing round, getting lucky, finding half-rotted berry. This sentence, it became the last straw that broke the camel's back. Wait for Annie to come back to the room. Discover your precious pet. The mouse was trampled into meat mud by people. His first instinct was to call Crotter. The ant angrily scolded him for wanting to make himself king, killed his own pet in revenge, but Crod was dazed by the accusation. However, the ant did not give up. He directly bit into Crod's hand. Go. The pain-eating Crod instinctively pushed the ant away. I didn't expect to knock over the candlestick and start a fire. The ant was crushed by the shelf and couldn't get up. Listen to the ant desperately calling for help. And instead of going forward, Crotter stepped backward and watched him burn to death. Unexpectedly, the ant who dominates Manhattan. It's so easy to go offline. Is it the same as the first season? Crotter is the ultimate boss. The picture comes to the dungeon. You end. He was calmly scraping the rat mess on the soles of his shoes with a knife. I have to. Psychological warfare has to be Negan's murder with a knife. Really? 6. At the same time, Marky and Pearly returned to Central Park. I didn't expect it to be here. The soldiers of some Babylon occupied. The female colonel takes advantage of her weapons to occupy the magpie's nest. Pilly was identified as a traitor by the colonel because he heard from Ginny. Pearly didn't kill the female root. The former female leader has become the catchball. After learning about Negan and Marky's feud, the colonel soon came up with a sinister plan. Detained Herschel as a threat, forcing Marky to go to Manhattan alone. Lawrence troops into the park trap. Use the terrain to ambush them. The only way to capture methane energy. But the colonel still underestimated Maggie. You must think of threatening yourself with your son. Maggie's first thought was to get rid of the colonel. He pretended to cooperate and left the surveillance first. Sneak in again at night, and quietly came behind the colonel. I didn't expect Ginny to suddenly get angry with a gun, and pointed the gun straight at Herschel. Jenny, put the gun down. The safety of her son must not make Maggie give up her resistance. The colonel was furious. To deter these rebels, the colonel decided to kill Marshall. He set up the gallows in the square, directly hanged the female leader who refused to surrender. The female leader faces the opponent calmly, with a smile. Frankly speaking is just a different way to accompany them. With the hanging of the female leader, the surrounding survivors began to lower their shadows again. Like, just opened. It started when the girl died. When it's about to be the horse's turn, survivors' voices make zombies grumpy. The swarm of corpses directly broke through the door. But face these bloodthirsty zombies. Survivors not only did not hide, instead, let the zombies bite him. Varkey stands on the gallows, incredibly, looking at the scene in front of me. Mourning is a stool that is pushed down without standing still. Maggie was about to be strangled alive. At the critical moment, Ginny suddenly took action to save him. The colonel took Herschel hostage and tried to escape. Maggie cares about her son's safety. He rushed up with a knife. This violent scene made the colonel's scalp tingle. One didn't pay attention and didn't look behind him. The female leader, who had just lost her argument, emerged from behind him. He directly bit the colonel's neck. The arrogant colonel just got off the line like this. Wait until the battle is over. Only Mashipal himself survived. Herschel also realized how much Marky cared about him. He was ashamed to admit that he was an undercover agent. Told Marky, the smoke and root on the tires. It's all his previous tipsters. The reason why I did this was to listen to the bewitching of my aunt. And what can Maggie do when she hears this? Of course, choose to forgive him. Just when mother and son fell in love with each other, a voice suddenly came from outside the door. It wasn't until Maggie and Pearly got outside that they realized. A group of people have cleaned up the zombies outside the door. Looks like it late to the party.